To understand the art of spotting and avoiding narcissists through the lens of Stoicism is to embark on a journey of self-mastery, discernment, and the cultivation of inner tranquility. For the Stoic, virtue and wisdom are the highest goods, and the quality of one's associations is not to be taken lightly. The company we keep can lift us or drag us, inspire peace or disrupt it. Therefore, learning to identify the hallmarks of narcissistic character and choosing wisely with whom to share one's time and energy becomes an exercise in practical wisdom, phronesis. A Stoic begins not outward, but inward. Self-knowledge is the foundation of all discernment. One must constantly examine personal thoughts, motivations, and vulnerabilities. Why does one crave approval, attention, or a certain flattering company? To spot the narcissist, one must first be vigilant regarding what in ourselves might attract or repel such an individual. A narcissist often preys upon the unwary, the unresolved, and the eager to please. Fortifying one's own sense of worth, grounded in virtue and not in external validation, is the primary defense. When encountering new people, or even re-evaluating long-standing relationships, a Stoic observes quietly. Ancient wisdom tells us that true character is revealed not by words alone, but by deeds, by the regular responses to fortune's shifts, praise or blame, success or setback, charity or disappointment. Narcissists often mask themselves in the beginning. They may be charming, excessively complimentary, eager to attach themselves to those they find useful or impressive. A Stoic watches for imbalance in conversation. Does this person seek deeply to understand others, or merely to be understood? Does their speech return always to themselves, their exploits, their hardships, their view of the world? Are their compliments in service of connection or manipulation? Suspicion is warranted when grandiosity pervades even the mundane. A narcissist may boast subtly, turning minor achievements into major victories, weaving a narrative where they are always protagonist, seldom supporting character. In social interactions, observe the regard given to others. Is it sincere or contingent upon usefulness? Watch how they treat those from whom they perceive little benefit. Do they scorn, ignore, or belittle subordinates and service workers? A Stoic knows that respect for others is not measured by hierarchy, but by the recognition of a shared human nature. Observe reactions to criticism. The Stoic, schooled in the art of accepting feedback with equanimity, expects calm and reflection in the face of gentle correction. The narcissist bristles, deflects, or retaliates, unable to endure attack on the fragile edifice of their self-concept. They hunger for admiration and wither in its absence. Where the Stoic values humility and gratitude, the narcissist cultivates entitlement. Testing for empathy is another revealed truth. When others confide in them, do they listen? Do responses reflect real curiosity and care, or are they impatient, dismissive, or redirected to their own story? The narcissist's empathy is often transactional, displayed only when it serves a pressing aim, and withheld when inconvenient. The Stoic, grounded in the kinship of all rational beings, values and extends sincere empathy as virtue demands. Examine boundaries. Narcissists often test the limits of others' patience and resources, presuming access to time, energy, or possessions without compunction. When denied, they may react with petulance or contempt. The Stoic, who esteems order and self-command, recognizes the importance of limits and honors them, both in self and others. The Stoic does not hasten in judgment. Time is the crucible of true character. The narcissist's mask may take time to slip. Only through consistent observation can one discern the genuine from the performance. Over time, the narcissist's disdain for equality, addiction to adulation, and absence of true connection reveal themselves. A Stoic maintains healthy detachment, neither swept away by initial charm, nor unduly pessimistic, but instead anchored, patient, and perceptive. Once identified, avoidance is a practice in Stoic discipline. This is not an act of enmity or disdain, but of self-preservation and virtue. The wise do not expose themselves needlessly to the turbulence of those who would distill chaos, nor do they arrogantly believe they can rescue a narcissist through sheer goodness. The Stoic disengages with composure, ensuring boundaries are firm, communication is clear and measured, and unnecessary interactions are gently declined. When obligated to interact, a colleague, a family member, a public figure, the Stoic maintains internal boundaries. This means expecting little, taking neither blame nor flattery too seriously, and not feeding the narcissist's ceaseless quest for validation. Refuse to be manipulated by emotional volatility. The Stoic navigates such relationships with clarity, responding instead of reacting, remaining anchored in the values of justice, moderation, and wisdom. If offense or injury is inflicted, the Stoic remembers that external events are judged by internal perception. Events themselves are neutral. It is our judgment of them that dictates pain. The narcissist's slights or manipulations are no cause for resentment if one chooses to see them as mere phenomena, revealing more about the other than oneself. The goal is not to convert the narcissist, but to preserve one's own harmony. A Stoic recognizes the futility of trying to earn the narcissist's lasting regard. There is no measure of virtue or accomplishment that will still their appetite for admiration. Instead, focus is kept firmly on the cultivation of personal character and on relationships grounded in mutual respect, honesty, and the common pursuit of good. Integral to this practice is remembering the fundamental Stoic teaching. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. The thoughts, feelings, and actions of the narcissist are not within our control. Our response, the calm we maintain, the boundaries we set, the associations we choose, are. Thus, serenity is attained not by changing others, but by changing ourselves. To summarize the approach: observe without immediate judgment. Trust deeds over words. Watch reactions to criticism and setbacks. Assess empathy, respect for boundaries, and underlying motives. Give time for true character to emerge. Once identified, interact minimally and with unyielding calm. Protect your peace through self-mastery, recognizing that your worth depends not on the approval or disdain of others, but on your own adherence to virtue. Inwardly, practice forgiveness, not for their sake, but your own. Let go of grudges which tie you to another's faults. The Stoic seeks tranquility, and to dwell on another's flaws is to sacrifice that tranquility unnecessarily. Relegate narcissists to the role of external influences, neither to be feared nor hated, but simply managed, as one would the weather or the unpredictable elements of fortune. This philosophical approach does not call for hatred or coldness, but for discernment, appropriate detachment, and unwavering adherence to one's own moral compass. It is possible to wish well for even those afflicted by narcissism, while refusing to let their disorder shape your actions. Compassion for their struggle is not incompatible with prudence. To live as a Stoic among narcissists is to be a quiet light in a world that often favors self-aggrandizement over steadfastness. It is to be unmoved by shallow charm, unshaken by emotional storms, and unmoved from the path of virtue by the clamor of those who demand the center of all things. By remembering always that flourishing depends not on the behavior of others, but on the choices one makes in thought and deed, one becomes immune to the toxic influence of the narcissist. In every encounter, then, the question remains, what is truly within my power? How shall I respond so as to preserve integrity and tranquility? In this inquiry, the Stoic finds a guide far more reliable than any external counsel. The quiet, persistent call of reason, asking only that we be honest, attentive, and courageous in both our seeing and our choosing. And thus, armed with these insights and practices, one can walk through life's halls with clear sight and calm heart, ever wary of the self-absorbed, the manipulator, the demands of ego over reason, yet never embittered, never intolerant, and never derailed from the pursuit of wisdom and peace. Through vigilance and virtue, the Stoic secures both freedom from the grasp of narcissists and from the inner turmoil that so often accompanies their presence. In the end, the greatest triumph is not merely to spot or avoid the narcissist, but to meet every being with the steadiness of one who has mastered himself, unmoved by flattery or insult, resolute in kindness, and ever tranquil in the knowledge that the only true good lies within.